like you guys are Christians and you don't even know what theological representation is. That's
You
so
are
sad.
an Albanian Muslim who is doing the world's worst dawah right now and can't make a coherent argument.
You don't even know what theological representation is, and you call yourself Christian.
Deathline. Can we avoid the meta for a sec? Can we like have a moment to reframe? Can you restate your proposition or your claim?
Sure. Can I ask you a simple question?
No,
you have to make
a question is not a claim
I
or a
don't think
proposition.
anyone knows what
Please
theological
make a claim.
representation is. Honestly,
Please
it
make
sounds
a
like two
claim
words you
or
just
a
put
proposition.
together, bro.
Googled it
You
now.
made up that fucking
Googled
word,
it.
and since
Can you
Theological
please?
representation refers to the
So,
artistic
I'm waiting
portrayal
until
of
he
religious
No.
concepts,
Yeah, hold on.
narratives, and
Deathline.
figures,
Can you
emphasizing the divine and
state
spiritual
your
aspects.
position as a
Yeah, I'm getting
proposition or
over
a
talk,
claim?
I
right?
was fucking
Questions
right.
and hypotheticals are not allowed. Can you reframe it as a statement or a
Yeah.
proposition?
So the reason why I need to ask a clarifying question is because if you don't know what theological representation is, then I will explain it, and I hope you're honest enough to sit here and say
No,
if you don't know.
again, we're not interested in the meta level of debate. Please state.
This is not meta.
Please, can you?
I'm trying to.
I'm allowing you for you to reframe, right? Just for the sake of
Yeah, sure,
conversation, right? Because
sure.
we can avoid
If
all the meta
God was
levels.
a man,
Okay.
sure. If God was a man existing in the physical world, but was both divine at the same time, then that would make him trans, because trans just refers to you changing your gender or something that describes you. Now, that would also prove that trans people exist. Now, the reason why I say theological representation and why you guys don't seem to understand it. Again, I'm getting interrupted again. Abysmo.
Yeah, continue.
I'm gonna lower him for myself.
No,
so he
no,
knows I'm
don't.
But he's just over talking me.
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
So,
just keep going.
So the reason why I say theological representation is because theological representation uses masculine pronouns, characteristics, but doesn't necessarily imply that God is a man in the human biological sense. That describes that are often rooted in language and culture. Theologians argue that God transcends human categories, including gender. So if you do believe that God was a man,
dude, you're
then
making
you
so many
deny
assumptions in what you're saying.
then you deny theological representation, because God cannot be a man and divine at the same time.
Can you put this into a syllogism?
Yes.
Sure.
Maybe that would be helpful. Because Deathline,
we need a fucking rebuttal to this, dude.
No, I understand. I understand. But for the sake of parsimony, like he's made multiple different points. So you're right. He's kind of gish galloping at this point because he just hasn't made one proposition. He's listed like 50 different propositions.
You just let him fucking speak, bro, and you don't have a fucking rebuttal to it. All right, so I fucking do. Let me fucking speak.
Okay, yeah.
Shut up.
We'll let you do it.
What he said, theological representation makes absolutely zero fucking sense. Second of all, his ideology of transgenderism that he's somehow applying to something that's outside of the physical world makes no logical sense, because transgenderism is, like he said, is a mental illness.
Bro, his face is very in proportion.
Let me lower this. What did you
the top side of the face, bro?
Attribute something
what did you
outside
want
of
to
the
put in
world
syllogism?
with physical limitations.
You look like Alistair Overeem, bro.
And
that man isn't handsome.
Put your argument into a syllogism and put it inside
law, dude. That's why God can do things outside of the physical possibilities, physical capabilities. You're saying that, it's a transgender as if he can change his being, his state, his modalism. That's not the right approach to Christian theology. If you want to debunk Christian theology, you have to get it accurate in the first place, so you can convict it properly, instead of what your fucking bunked worldview of what Christianity is so stupid. You're not even attacking Christians properly. It's such a weak, senseless attack. So what the fuck is theological representation? That's two words you put together. I looked it up in the dictionary. It's not even a fucking real thing. Like, what are you even talking about? Theological representation.
Representation is like the Abrahamic religion. All the theologies follow the.
Dude, you're just fucking literally look it up, dude. What is it? I don't know. This guy can't even understand. Like, he can't even fucking explain what it is. Do you know what modalism is? Maybe that's what you're referring to. A type of theological representation. Modalism. It's a corrupt way of seeing Christianity. Other shit too, like iconoclast. What is that? That's also corrupt. What else? Lollardism. What else? Coptic. What else?
Christians are Abrahamic and Muslims are Abrahamic. It's about the
I just don't
Abrahamic
understand how
religion.
even if you say like even if everything we listen to up
dude,
until
we
the
fucking
point,
know, dude. Holy fuck,
like trying it doesn't
You don't
even
know
if
theology.
what he was
You don't know
saying,
where your
he was
religion
saying that
comes from or
Jesus
what you
God
follow.
was
That
trans
is what
and
he's
that
talking about.
proves that trans people exist. No, it doesn't. It doesn't prove anything about like what we
I don't
know
know
as
what the
trans
fuck
people
you're
right
saying,
now.
bitch.
You know that's just straight up total non
No,
sequitur.
trying to take a jab at religion. He thinks
No,
that
okay, I think
God
that
is
definitely
like
he's
changeable and
writing
he
it
can
down.
change
He's
from
writing the argument
physical to
down.
like
The
mental
theology
ethereal
of
like a
our
trans
religion
person.
are
He thinks it like
Abrahamic
that and he's
religion,
trying to fucking
not
get
Christian.
a rise out of
Yeah,
Christians.
I'm writing it. Hold on.
Most Christians don't
Yeah.
even pick it up because it makes no logical sense in the first place. But I see
Yeah,
what
but
he's
you're
doing.
American, you are molding as well, though. It doesn't help. Like he's just allow him to be retarded. Don't be like offended by
Yeah,
it.
we're awaiting a written version of the argument in the side chat. I mean,
Well, it
you
says in
know,
the
this
Bible
will
that the
be
fool
classic
deserves a
Awaganda
rod. A
tricks,
rod is
but
for the fool. So
Yeah, but you don't
that's what they
have a
deserve.
rod.
Fools deserve
You don't
rods.
have a rod. You've only got discourse. I would absolutely strike him with a rod. Sure, but we don't have that, so this is only a place
It's
where we
not,
can
dude.
talk.
It's not even in the
Yeah,
literal
discourse,
sense.
my
It's
friend.
figurative. It's
Yeah,
figurative.
What's
And
the issue at hand,
pseudo-propositional
sir?
logic.
What is that issue we are glitching about today?
What does
okay.
it
Well,
say?
P2 is false. There,
You said post an evidence of what I'm saying.
P2. How is P2
The
false?
evidence I posted
P2 is
in the
false
chat.
because a trans man like doesn't or a trans woman doesn't exist. It's just a man in a dress.
Right, well, you know,
Well,
They
no,
don't
I don't care.
become a
Wait,
woman.
anyone
wait,
here
I don't
accepts.
care.
I feel
So
like they're
I don't
trying to
care.
What do you mean you don't
If
care?
they-
That's a rebuttal.
Wait,
That rebuts
wait.
P2.
Let me finish.
by
I don't care if they
on
just put
edging.
on a man or a
Oh,
dress. I care what they say.
sicko.
So P2 can't be false because P1 is true. I don't
If
know why
I
you're
say
attacking.
Islam is false, does that make
You
it
need
false?
to attack P1, not P2.
No, what do you mean?
No,
I can
your
attack
argument is
either premise.
okay.
I can
Fuck
attack
this
any
guy
premise
talking
I
about.
want. That's how syllogisms work.
This is too much math for me.
Yeah, of course you can, but if you deny
P2 is the
P2, you
false
need to
one.
deny P1.
No, I don't. That's not how syllogisms work. I can. All
my
I
God,
need to do
Abysmal.
is show
Can
that
I
one
can
of
I
the
talk to
premises
you
is
instead?
wrong.
Oh no, hold on. Can I just quickly say, like, just because even if we accept dual or transformed states of being are possible, that doesn't mean that the specific dual transformed state of being a tranny is real. That's not motivated by your syllogism at all.
Also,
It just means it's
I
like,
don't know if there is a mod in here, but don't say the T-shirt. They will mute you. I'd like to change.
no, I'm off the chain.
Yeah,
I say it whenever I want. I don't care. They mute you for 5
okay,
minutes. And that,
if you don't care, then okay.
It doesn't work.
I
Just
don't.
don't want
Yeah.
you to get muted.
That you're trying to sign up.
It's an honor to
You can't sign up me, bitch. The fuck?
Yeah, if you deny P2, then you gotta deny P1.
No, I don't. That's not how syllogisms
Yes,
work.
because then
all I
God
need
couldn't
to
have been a
do.
man.
P2
Bro,
doesn't
premise
follow
one's a
from
category
P1.
error.
They
You're
exist
dumb. There's no
independently.
way.
If I
Then
say that
dual or
P2 is
transformed
false, that is
states
a
category error.
are
syllogism.
possible and
Right.
sacred.
Do I
You
really
believe
need to
they're
draw a
possible
logic
and
tree for
sacred.
I'll put
you?
it in chat. You know what? I'll put it in chat. Just wait for
Yeah,
it.
make
Type
it into a
out. I'll type
syllogism.
it out in chat.
Draw the tree. Hold
Make it
on.
into a syllogism.
Okay,
Well, I
hey,
don't need to. I'm
premise one's a
rebutting, so I don't
category
need to
error,
put it
bro.
into a
You can't
syllogism.
make that. It's a false dichotomy. You can't
No,
say
because
that
it's a
since God
it's not a false. I don't even know if you. I
It's
don't
a
even think you know what a
category
false
error.
dichotomy is. Because in the end,
Okay,
I
I don't
have
care what you
divine
think about what I
possibility.
think.
I don't know why the fuck you would
Brother,
say false
fucking
dichotomy.
idiot.
Brother,
Don't
no,
use
it's a
words you don't
category
know.
error. What
Low
makes you
word.
think
Fuck
that a
off.
no,
I hate when
listen.
people use
Why?
big words to sound smart.
No, it's a category error.
Literally, how long did we have to hear about theological representation? And I've been googling it the whole time, and there isn't like a clear-cut definition that everyone knows what that is. There's like 10 different things I've found that are all equally weighted when it comes to
Trans
discussing it. I then
identities don't
went on
inherently
Stupid
represent
Lore,
dual states
and it
in the
did the
way
same
divine
thing.
human
So
duality
you
is
literally
described.
did that. You did that
Most
as if
trans
everyone
people do
knows
not identify as
theological
being two things
representation
at
is
once.
this well-discussed, and it's
Man
not.
and woman,
Like,
but
so
rather
shut
as
the
one
fuck up
thing.
about that shit, bro.
Yeah.
The comparative
Theological.
belief
No,
system
there is one.
categorized
There is one which
trans
is
identity
Bible
in
library, which is like the representation of like when it comes to
No,
philosophy, artistic portrayal of
because
religious
a
concept
trans
narratives and
person is
figures.
not going to
Yeah,
say
that's
they're
what
both
theological
male and
representation,
female. They're
which I
going to say
just
that they're a
mentioned to you
trans
what it was.
person.
Yeah, no, I
There's
don't
the
know why you
difference.
would sit here and say there is no cut and dry cut of like theological representation of the definition when there is one.
The difference
You just
here is
didn't
that
know what it
God
meant.
is fully man
It's that
and fully
simple.
God. He's not. No trans person
Alright.
is fully male and
We
fully
put it in the
female.
side
There's a
chat,
difference.
but again, like just because a trans person might say a thing doesn't make that thing true.
Allah.
So it's
like, how
not
can
like
you be fully trans and fully not trans? How does that work?
yeah.
When will you understand
Yeah,
that
exactly. A
you're
trans person doesn't believe that they don't even believe
I
it's a
said, it's a
transformed state. They just
category
believe
error.
that they're in their own body. You know, they have like
They don't embody a dual or transformed state.
And there's the assumption that
It's
you
false
know,
so
that all
called trans people
transformed
don't
states of
embody
being
dual or
carry
transformed state
sacred
being
and
in
divine
their identity.
dimension.
It's just because the trans people say that they are different state than what they are. That doesn't make it true. Similar, if I say Islam is false, that doesn't make it false. That is true. I agree with
God
you.
embodies dual
But
states. It doesn't
if the
logically validate trans
possibility
identity as
that God
sacred or
was
reflective of
both
divine possibility.
man and divine at the
Correlation
same
is not equal
time,
causation,
that
my
would
friend.
mean there is a divine possibility for trans people to exist.
No, that
brother.
doesn't follow either.
That's
Like
that's
P2
Yes, it
doesn't
does.
follow from
correlation
P1.
does
Like
not
the
equal
two premises of
causation.
these arguments aren't related to each other. The idea of doing syllogisms is you take premises that are unrelated and they lead to a conclusion. It's you know, like so just P1, the truth claim of P1 has no effect on the truth claim of P2. So, you know, P1 can be completely and totally true. That doesn't make P2 true. Vice
Here,
versa.
I'll make it like
So-
this. Hold on.
Okay.
P1? What is P1?
But of course,
Nobody?
the conclusion only follows if both P1 and P2 are true.
it's a conjunction. You know.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
P2 is
So now
not
we're
true,
just gonna go
but if
into
P2 isn't
fine.
true, then the conclusion can't be true.
Yeah. So then now
God
we're
has
just gonna
taken-
say like if let's go with this, right? Like I don't know if this is gonna like,
making shit
be
up.
able to
I
for
put
you
a handy
to understand.
diagram in the,
But
in the side chat.
if
That's
someone
handy.
says I'm hungry, we accept that there is an internal truth because it reflects their experience, right? Like if I sit here and say, "Hey, I'm hungry," you won't say, "Well, you're lying," right?
I have
No,
4 arms.
you will. Yeah. Again, you will
Do
sit
I have
here.
4
No,
arms? Is that true?
I don't know.
I'm
if you have
masturbating
I have
right
4
now.
arms.
could I don't know if you have.
I'm 20
could be a
foot tall.
possibility. Yeah, that could be a possibility.
You're
I
not
was
hungry.
alive.
Children in Africa
I'm
are
so
hungry.
old. I was alive in the year 600 AD, and I met Muhammad, and he was a fraud.
Yeah, it could be a
agree.
possibility.
Is that
I don't know. I don't know.
We
It
smoked
could be a
weed together
possibility.
and we had a pint of cause.
You know,
Yeah,
like you know what I'm
no.
getting at.
Yeah, again, you're not letting me like finish, right? But like I said, if you sit here, and also I said, yeah, that could be a possibility. I don't know. You would
But
have
it
to
could be.
represent the evidence. Yeah,
Okay, so
there have existed people with 4 arms. Yeah, there is a possibility for you to have 4 arms.
is there a
I don't know.
possibility that I met Muhammad in person and that he was a fraud?
also,
Very
like,
unlikely,
this
but
is
yeah, there is a
P1.
possibility. There are
You can
people that
attack
have
P1
gone
as well
up to
because
180 years old. Yeah, there is a
Because
possibility.
Are there people who
P1
live
is
to
also attackable
1400
because
years
it's, you
old?
say that if God
Huh?
can be both man and divine at the same
Wait,
time, then dual or
listen, guys.
transformed states
When I'm
are possible.
listen,
But
guys.
you
When
imply
I'm
that they're
let me
possible
lower you.
for mortal
Like,
man other
listen,
than God.
when
which
I'm
does not
talking to one
necessarily
person,
follow.
don't cut in and be like, "Hey, what about this?" Right? Let me finish first
No,
with
because we're getting back to
BTS.
the point. I
Then
can't
I'll
believe.
come to you.
Listen,
I
bro. Have
can't
you any
address
idea
2
how much
points at the
deference
same
you're
time
being shown?
because
Have you any idea how
your
much
points
deference you're
aren't
being
even
shown having
reflecting
people
the same
engage
thing
with
you're
this
talking
talk?
about.
No, the
So,
fact that we're engaging with this
PTX,
idiocy
no,
talk
I
is
don't know.
more
There
than
is
you
a
deserve.
possibility.
Okay,
There's always a
that's fine.
possibility.
That's
So when you
fine.
sit, when
Could I try it this way? So,
Sure.
rather than talking about possibility, let's talk about
Yeah.
probability, right? What's the probability that I'm 1400 years old? Pretty non-existent, but you know, maybe non-zero, but pretty non-existent, right? So we could say, okay, well, maybe it is possible that there exists some quirk of reality where a trans person who says I'm a woman, that somehow makes them a dual or you know a dual state. But this is not plausible. This is on the wrong side of plausibility.
Yeah, no, because again, then I would deny you your visible reality, right? Like I would deny it. Because if I sit
you're
here and
denying visible reality, why are you
wait,
making arguments?
yeah,
to begin with?
I'm not denying it because I'm not sitting here and saying there is no possibility for it. You're sitting here and saying it, and then you're trying to get into with probability, right? So if you sit here and tell me, "Hey, I'm hungry," and I say, "No, you're not. You're lying," then I'm denying your visible reality, right? That you're living in, right? So, but you wouldn't do that. Well, yeah, you could, right? And a trans person could be lying, and a trans person could not be lying. I don't
do shit. No, they can't. You're either a boy or a girl, or you're a fucking moron, and you need to go and get help.
Let me lower you.
No, they can't. You're a boy,
like I was sitting here and saying, I don't sit here and say that God was a man. I don't say that. You said that. You believe God was a man and divine.
Right, but we're talking about premise
that would mean there is a possibility for
P2.
trans people to exist. There would be a possibility for you to be 400 years old. There would be a possibility for you to have 4 arms. Because you believe that God was both a man and divine at the same time. You're the one that is trying to believe that, but at the same time denying visible reality for other people. So every time someone says, I am hungry, you need to deny that to be logically consistent. Are you following me?
I don't need to deny that because, again, like, yeah, there's possibility, but we're talking about plausibility as well, and this falls on the wrong side of plausibility.
Do you deny psychology?
I would need to assume that there is some special. No, well, hold on. Okay, I don't want a bajillion people over talking, right? Like, we would have to assume that there exists some special condition that we currently don't know about, but definitely does validate P2, and that everything we know at the minute, which is it should be pretty obvious that a trans woman is not actually a real woman, and we all know that. But maybe there's some hidden quirk in the universe that makes it so. But that's on the wrong side.
There you go. There's your evidence. I don't even need to give you like countless words of like scientific evidence. I can just use your own belief, which is God was both a man and divine at the same time. That is your proof.
At the same time, you're trying to argue P1 and P2 at the same time. The whole point of a syllogism is that the premises are independent of each other. So all I need to do is object to P2. Stop pretending I'm trying to argue P1.
I'm not saying you're not following. I'm not saying
P2 is a
you are
natural
arguing
consequence
or trying to like argue
if P2
P1.
was a
I'm not
natural
saying
consequence
that. I know
of
you're
P1,
attacking
it wouldn't
P2.
be a premise.
You asked me for
conclusion.
evidence, and there needs to be an outside force that proves that trans people exist. I said P1 proves trans people exist.
No, right.
P1 is the proof.
If P2 followed from P1, would it be a premise or a conclusion?
Premise 1 is not even a full premise. That's a premise and then
If premise 2 follows from premise 1, would that make it a premise or a conclusion?
A premise.
Really?
No, it has to have. There cannot be
No, premise 1 assumes something. Premise 1 assumes a conclusion.
Again, like I said, P1 is the proof you're asking for.
There can't be interconnectedness between premises. You're arguing P2 as if it's a conclusion and not as if it's a premise.
No.
Yeah.
I hate when people use big words and they don't know
is
what they mean.
the proof for P2 that concludes.
Then P2 would be a conclusion and not a premise. You're going to have to set this out as 2 separate syllogisms. What's the point you want to argue?
Wait, you say a premise is the proof for another premise? Is that what you just said?
That's literally freaking dumb.
Isn't that what you just said, though? You said P1 is the proof for P2?
Again,
this is Allah's strongest soldier right here.
Again,
this is the average Dawa
if you're sitting here and telling me that there needs to be an outside force that proves to you that trans people exist.
No,
then
I'm telling you that premise 2 can't follow from premise 1, otherwise
because
it would be a
God
conclusion.
was both divine and a man at the same time,
and if
which would be
this
proof
is crazy. Stop
that there is a
pretending that premise 2 is a
possibility
premise when
that
you mean
trans
it as a
people
conclusion.
exist. So again, P1 is the proof you're asking for.
No, it's a prior
So your
claim.
argument is that, oh, well, P1 proves P2, only that would make P2 actually C1.
No, that's what you asked for.
God is a misunderstanding of how logic works.
I'm desperate. Maybe you want to you know what? Maybe try rewording your argument in the side chat with the premises and conclusions correctly labeled. Because you can't say that premise 2 is a premise and then pretend it's a conclusion from premise 1.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Am I lying?
His first premise assumes God exists, so it can also be your proof for God's existence.
I'm hungry. Am I lying?
I fixed it, everybody.
Okay. Well, let's look at the fixed version.
To bet I'm a fucking
Okay, well, yeah, trans
Giga
people don't occupy a dual state.
Am I right
Cool.
in reading this? I don't
What are we
understand
talking
you're
about
You're
here?
saying divinity and manly is because it's a dual.
They might tell you that they occupied. Well, they probably wouldn't even tell you that they occupied.
Now I have
They would say
like
that they're
another
firmly
person
one
saying
thing.
P1
Of course,
is
they're
false.
firmly the other
Yeah,
thing.
of
They're
course
not
I
a
believe
dual
P1.
thing.
Of course, I believe P1 is false because I don't believe God was a man and divine at the same time. I always believe that God is divine. But
Are you a man
Christians
or are you a
don't
bird?
believe that.
Are you a fat girl or are you a fat boy?
Again, I am hungry. Am I lying?
This doesn't have anything to do with
Yeah,
the
I'm
argument.
hungry. Am I lying? No, I'm hungry. Am I lying? That's a yes or no.
I don't
No,
know
but
if
you're
you're
not
lying,
hungry.
maybe, but it has nothing to do with the argument.
My favorite part
Again,
about
just answer it. It's yes or no.
I'm
Am I
hungry.
lying?
It's not yes or no. It's I don't know. I don't know
Okay,
if you're lying.
so you don't know if trans people exist.
Yes, of course we know if
What do you
trans people
mean?
exist. It's fake
You don't
bullshit.
know if trans people
You
exist.
either are man
That's
or
not
woman.
that's not the same. You being
Yes, it
hungry.
is.
No. You being hungry implies that I have to be a mind reader. Now, put it this way, right? If I hooked you,
holy shit! Wait, yeah, you need to be a
If I
mind
hooked you
reader to
up,
be
if I
able
hooked
to
you up
know
to an
if I'm
EEG
hungry or
machine,
not.
no,
The
no. If
same way
I
where
hooked
you need to be a mind reader to know
you
if someone truly
Galagandist.
thinks
Hold
they're a
on,
man when they're a biological female. Holy fuck, bro!
Hold on,
Doesn't
if I
that
hooked
fucking
you
shock
up
me?
to an
It's almost
EEG
like you just
machine,
proved my
I would know
whole
if you were
syllogism.
hungry. If I
Fucking
hooked you
hell,
up to
bro!
medical equipment,
Jesus
I would
Christ,
know
you're
if you were
dumb.
hungry.
Like
If I were to
Christians will
hook you
do
up
this.
to
This is
medical
what you
equipment,
Christians will
by the way,
fucking
all
do.
he can
It's
say
like
is you're
as
dumb
soon as
because
you
he
get
knows
pushed
he's
into a
ignorant, by the
corner,
way.
you will
He
go, no,
knows
no,
you're
no, 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 no,
ignorant.
that's not what I said.
All
No,
he
no, no,
keeps saying
no,
is,
that's
he
not the
won't
same. No, no,
engage with
no.
my
Even
argument
though it
because he's not smart
logically
enough to.
follows.
He's not able to.
Holy
That's why he
fuck,
won't
you
engage with what
Christians
I'm
are
saying.
dumb.
That's
Jesus
why he
Christ, I
won't
would be
engage with what I'm
ashamed of
saying.
calling myself a Christian.
Listen,
And
if I
plus,
hooked you up
most of you Christians didn't even know what theological representation is
he's just
when that's the
the
core
same guy who
like
then
the
goes on to say he
core
doesn't
of
like when people use big words.
Christianity.
Anyway,
You're
if
shameful of
I
you.
hooked you up to an
Holy
EEG
fuck,
machine,
bro.
I would know if you were hungry. If
really
I
just
hooked you up to
saying I am,
medical
but
equipment,
you're
I
telling
would
me
know if
this
you were hungry. Just like if I hooked a trans person up to
You would
medical
know if I'm
equipment,
hungry
I would
because
know
my
if they
tummy
were
would
man or
rumble.
woman.
My tummy would rumble a lot, and I want to put food in my mouth.
Hunger is a state
Wait,
of
no,
mind.
over Discord. How would I know?
It is
You hear my tummy
plain
rumble,
and simple.
Mike.
It is plain and
No,
simple.
I
If
wouldn't
I
hear it. In many
hooked you up,
cases, your tummy
if I
doesn't
hooked
rumble
you
when
up
you're
to
hungry.
medical
Like what?
equipment, I
That's
would
a
know if you
false.
were hungry.
No, you
I
would
would know.
not know if you were hungry hooking them up to a machine. It would
Like,
tell you.
anyways, I'm done.
It would tell me if you were hungry.
My
In
throat
the
is
same way, if
starting.
I hook a man in a dress,
I'm trying to like
tells me he's a man.
explain this to like dumb Christians. Like it's so
No,
simple.
your argument is it's over Discord, so it doesn't
Yeah, no, I
count.
just
Gee,
wanted
I
to
guess
ask them,
you
and they
can never
conceded,
know
right?
anything.
Like God is a
Like,
trans person.
this
Nice.
is
Good to know
ridiculous.
that
If I hook
God
you up
is
to a
a
machine,
trans
I
person.
would know if you were hungry.
God is a trans person. Is that your argument?
No, that's what
Now
Christians
we're
believe.
debating over that's
I mean,
Listen,
so I mean that's.
This is the last strongest
Why is
voter.
God a trans
Every
person? I want to hear
guy
this.
I'm
you
glad.
out there
I'm
is
glad.
just like you, and like this guy's no
I'm
different.
glad I had this on
No, listen, guys. If you hear what this guy
Yeah,
is
I
saying,
glad I had
you
this
will
on
laugh.
stream.
Everyone who's new in here,
Wait, I'm gonna
you
view
are
tab
going
right
to
now.
laugh if you hear what he has to say.
651 people. They're all sitting there and laughing. I mean, like you guys don't even have
600.
logic
Wow, that
consistency.
is so crazy.
So
You need to
sad.
tell me
Anyways,
you were hooked in front of a live audience. That's
no,
embarrassing.
it's kind of opposite. You just admitted that God is a trans person. Anyways, I'm out. See you guys.
Nobody admitted that. You failed to lay out what a syllogism was. You thought a premise was a
I could
conclusion.
sit here and eat a McDonald's. I can eat tons of food, and if I'm a greedy fat
dude is
bastard, I can hook you to a
This has
machine.
nothing to do
by
with
the way, and
Guess what? In my
he's
head, I'm
Harvard
still
and
hungry.
Brown.
Hooking you up to a
Hold
machine
on,
is
everyone stop.
a state of mind.
Mr. British
It's
man,
perception.
Scotty,
Hunger is
we
not
all,
a case of whether or not you're malnourished. Hunger is a case of how
it
you think
wasn't
in your
even
head.
a trans debate. It
And no
wasn't even a
machine's going to
trans
tell
debate.
you what
That's
no
not the
individual
point.
thinks.
Calm
But
down,
it
bro.
wasn't a
That
trans
wasn't the
debate.
point.
Yeah, it is.
This is what he said for everyone who wasn't here earlier.
Do you think
He
God
said this.
is
He said, if God
legitimately
is
a
both man,
transgender person, bro?
he said, if God is both man and divine,
That's what
then
you think?
dual or transformed states are possible. Therefore, and then he also said, trans people occupy a dual or transformed state.
Yeah, that's a
Therefore,
bullshit statement.
Therefore, if God is both man and divine, then trans people exist, that it is legitimate. That doesn't follow at all. First of all, trans people don't occupy a dual or transformed state. They believe they are one thing in the wrong body or whatever, but they don't believe they're both man and woman at the same time. That's not what trans people believe about themselves in general. So that's not even remotely correct. You know what I mean? So I don't even care about the downstream actual thing. That's just wrong on the face of it.
He wasn't making a. I don't think he was making this as a serious argument, though. I don't think he was actually. I don't think he was actually.
To be honest, maybe I got too heated. I should have paid more attention to the fact that he was an Albanian and just been like, "Oh, this guy. There's no way this guy has an IQ over 80."
He's obviously trolling. Anyone that makes an argument like that is obviously trolling.
Yeah,
so don't
no, but the thing is, right? See with Dawa guys, with Muslim Dawa guys, they really are that stupid sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Have you met many of them?
Shut the fuck up.
So, yeah, quite a few. It's not a joke. Sometimes they really are stupid.
Me from speaking and actually bringing members.
But then maybe sometimes they're not. Maybe this guy was trolling. Maybe.
So you actually let the guy come in.
I hope so. I sure hope so.
Jokes.
I'm 50-50 on it, to be honest. I don't know. I think he was trying to make some weird point, and then because he was talking about theological representation, and I promise I've looked this up. I mean, and it's like it's symbolic representation, doctrinal representation, artistic, narrativistic. I mean, I guess that's the one he claims was the super obvious standout thing he was talking about. But no, like he's just. I've got Wild Man turned way down, by the way, if anyone's wondering. I can see he's popping up. But,
yeah, I should have him turned down.
Your entire fucking religion.
Standard procedure when he enters a room.
And you played into a fucking role.
Wildman actually this guy on the server. And I don't mean that as like an insult. Like, I promise I don't mean that as an insult.
It's an observation.
You're nobody. You didn't.
And it's like he's stupid, not even just because of how potentially stupid he is. It's because he doesn't listen at all to who he's talking to. You know, he could be talking to a wall, and it would be the same exact. You know.
Well, that's the thing. If you put like Wildman in a room with an AI bot, he'd go at it for hours. He wouldn't notice.
The guy smokes dang weed.
Instead of fucking adjusting the.
Like he wouldn't know he was talking to a chatbot.
He's unironically going to get deported, I think. And sometime in the next couple of years, we can hope.
Yeah, maybe so. I'm pleased to see him in a house, though, because he's not always in a house.
Wait, what? He is? Dude, last time I saw him, he was like in a crack shack.
Yeah, he was living in a car. Like, I'm pleased to see he is in a house this time. So he is kind of on the up and up. So I am kind of proud of him.
He's back. He's back to like a crack shack kind of a situation.
Look at you.
Apparently he's like a huge piece of shit to his mother and has been like on camera before. And apparently he tortured a cat or something, or was it a dog? I don't know. Or he neglected it or something like that. I don't know.
Dude,
is having a mother, and now
not a required. I said an essential property. An essential property. You keep trying to funnel it in. Right? So you may be equivocating.
No idea that I'm not listening.
No, he doesn't know.
But if you're doing that, you have to clarify why you believe.
Yeah, because he's fine.
I can just use your term.
All right, cool. Essential property.
Essential property. An essential property for being a human is having a mother. I just showed you an example.
The thing is if you ask, so that's why I asked you, where does motherhood and fatherhood come from?
From God.
Okay, so there's no contradiction. There's no contradiction.
Again,
if God created the first human beings, there's recording.
Yeah, Des Vote was trying to verify what you said. So can you verify it? Oh, there's no way.
Well, I think you're.
God is never referred to as a mother, bro.
Yeah, he is in the Old Testament.
You're making a word concept fallacy.
Yeah. So you know when
the mother.
Okay, we can just look it up. I mean, if you have a question, why don't you just Google it, or why don't you? I mean, you could just ChatGPT it as well.
Well, you mean. Right?
Do you mean God the Father, or do you mean God the Son?
God referred to as a mother in the Old Testament.
God is never referred to as a mother.
The essence of God, right?
Yeah.
Never referred to as a mother.
So yes, God is referred to as a mother in the Old Testament in multiple places, including Hosea 11:3-4. God is described as a mother who teaches Ephraim to walk and lifts them up in her arms.
That's
Isaiah 66. Exactly, precisely. Okay, again, an essential property is, and an essential property, an essential property is not an identity statement, sir. Right? You see, that's the thing. That's where you're conflating. Again, you're trying to. Right. Here's the thing. That's why earlier it was very important to clarify. What I did not say was that it was some necessary trait or something, right?
Okay. So
That's
when
what.
God
So
in the
you're
Old Testament
right. You're engaged in what's called. Yeah, right. So what you're engaged in, Prince, is you're trying to do a reductio absurdum,
like that's
right?
your that's the
This
that's
is a
your
materialistic
reductio, bro.
fallacy, Prince. You're making
Like,
a
you actually cooked
materialistic
yourself, bro.
fallacy. That's a
You
materialistic
actually
fallacy, sir.
no, hold on.
So
You're
again, so
conflating
Isaiah
a
66.
metaphor with it.
You did not. This guy's just full of shit. Anyway.
I did.
What, in the last 10 seconds?
All right. So I'm going to reframe one more time, okay? All right. So we went from JFK assassination, including that journalist and Marilyn Monroe, and it had something
based on evidence which
terrorism.
Any form of unjustified killing is acceptable. I don't.
Yeah, look, I don't think.
So obviously, it's going to be.
What do you?
That there is a pencil.
Some locution, some sense data, whatever, right?
Okay, got it.
He's like the primary subject here right now. We can like study him for like a century.
Yeah,
like, find all the answers.
I have him muted, but I have him like clicked on, so he's actually the main thing on my Discord.
That's
But like he's muted. He's just observing.
I can't teach a gay God. They don't fucking follow the laws.
Taking notes. No.
Dude,
What am I lying?
I should write a PhD thesis on Wildman Malone. Actually, I should like study. Should study like his psychology. Actually, I'll like get a Nobel Peace Prize for like soul.
See, when I work with ideology. No, man, listen. I want to see a live stream of Wildman trying to play Portal. I want to watch a live stream of Wildman trying
so much this.
I'm with you more.
Wildman, could you live stream yourself playing Portal? Well, I'll turn you up. Can you play Portal? Could you play Portal for us on stream?
What is Portal?
It's like a.
I'm playing Overwatch.
Wait.
Of course you are. Anyway.
My healer's not dropping heals. You're over here thinking that damage.
Who do you main on Overwatch?
Wildman doesn't have much of the microphone.